Hi, I'm Bill Perry, and this is our daily reminder that the church is open, only the building is closed. If somebody had decided to write a novel in using the premise of a, a virus in some town called Wuhan, China, I don't even know where, I had to Google to find out where it was, that virus, whether it came from a live animals market or from a research lab, wherever it came from, that virus would immobilize the world. The book would have been, the plot would have been deemed preposterous and the book relegated to the fiction section. I was thinking that on that day after Jesus' crucifixion, we call it Holy Saturday. They didn't call it Holy Saturday. It was the day after Jesus died on the cross. That there anybody who would have talked about a living faith and a living Lord, or that people in 2020 would be celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the plot would have been deemed preposterous and put over next to the other book in the fiction section. But that's exactly what we have. It's 2020 and we are celebrating the good news of the risen Lord, and have been for centuries. For centuries. There's a passage in the book of Acts. Now we have time because your schedule is as clean as my schedule. My glory. Go read Acts chapter 4 and chapter 5. It's really a good read. You'll enjoy it. This is not drudgery at all. But in the first verses of chapter 4, Peter and John are arrested for preaching about, they're telling people about this new Jesus. And so they're brought to the authorities. The authorities tell them, you stop, just cut it off. And Peter says, who do you want us to obey, you or God? And so the authorities get really firm. Look, I'm telling you, shut it down. Now get out of here. And so Peter and John are thrown out, and they go out and do what you would expect. They go out and continue telling people about Jesus. They're brought back into the court, into the temple. They're into the court. And now we're in chapter 5. And it says in chapter 5, the members of the council heard this. They were so furious that they wanted to have the apostles put to death. Boom. I mean, they are torqued. And so then we really, where we pick it up at in Acts 5:34. And one of them, a Pharisee, named Gamaliel, who was a teacher of the law and was highly respected by all the people, stood up in the council. And he ordered the apostles, take them out so that we can talk. And then Gamaliel says, fellow Israelites, be careful what you do to these men. You remember that Theudas appeared some time ago claiming to be somebody great. About 400 men joined him, but he was killed, all his followers scattered, and his movement died out. After that, Judas the Galilean appeared during the time of the census. He drew a crowd after him, but he was killed and all his followers were scattered. And so, in this case, I tell you, don't take any action against these men. Leave them alone. If what they have planned and done is of human origin, it will disappear, just like Theudas and just like Judas the Galilean. If what they have planned and done is of human origin, it will disappear. But if it comes from God, you cannot possibly defeat them. If it comes from God, you cannot possibly defeat them. Now, back then, they were not thinking about us in 2020. We were way out of their line of sight. But that passage in the book of Acts is really good for us in 2020. It's because when they look at us and we look back at all of those, we look back at the saints through the ages who have found living hope in a living Lord, who practiced a living faith in the living Lord, that 2020 rings pretty strong. Now they say Acts was written about 70 or 80, which is about 40, 50 years after the resurrection. This story, because it's in the fourth chapter, it's early in the book of Acts, happened soon after Pentecost, somewhere soon after Pentecost. There's no date possible. And the resurrection is ascribed by those people who follow such things to be either AD 30 or AD 33. And since I was not a math major, we'll use AD 30 because it's simpler math in my head. 2020 this year, 30 AD. That means for the last 1,990 years, 1,990 years, people have been practicing a living faith, believing in their living Lord, just like we are. Through whatever the highs and lows of their world, they practiced a living faith in the living Lord, just as we are. And so, here we are, just like the saints through the ages, practicing a living Lord, a living faith in the living Lord. Amen. Keep the faith. And now receive the benediction. May God bless and keep you. May his love flow through you to others and flow through others to you. Be safe, be well, be kind. And now let's go wash our hands.